1969 was a banner year. We inaugurated a new president, watched men walk on the moon. And in Newark, Ohio, a small group of 9 collectors began meeting, swapping finds, and sharing information about Highsea glass. No one could have imagined that these first few meetings would result in a nationwide club, attracting thousands of members. By 1971, the group had grown from 9 to 20 enthusiastic collectors, and on October 15th, Highsea Collectors of America was officially chartered. Those 20 local members became the first board of directors. Seeking to expand the membership, the group ran ads in several antiques publications and a local newspaper. They organized a display of Highsea glass at the Buckingham House, held an antique show, and published the first issue of the Highsea News on January 25, 1972. The Collectors Association also issued their first souvenir, a plate made from the number 1447 Rococo mold and produced by the Imperial Glass Corporation of Bel Air, Ohio. All profits from the sale were set aside to help secure a future Highsea museum. The success of these early efforts led to the realization that a permanent display of Highsea glass was feasible. In 1972, a committee was formed to look for a suitable building. 1 year later, a prospective home was found. Though badly in need of renovation and repairs, the 1831 Greek Revival King House clearly had potential. Highsea Collectors of America was able to purchase the house for $1 and secure a site at Veterans Park. Imagine the sense of pride and accomplishment felt by the club and the astonishment of curious onlookers as the house crept through the streets of Newark and was carefully set in place. But acquiring and moving the house were just the beginning. The club now faced the formidable task of raising the funds necessary to renovate the structure, estimated to require a whopping $50,000. Though still in its infancy, the club responded to the challenge issued by the museum committee. Collectors and enthusiasts from around the country rallied in support of the museum and raised the necessary funds. Restoration began, and by September 1974, the museum was open to the public. The formal dedication on June 14, 1975, was timed to coincide with the annual convention. More than 300 people gathered to celebrate the club's growth and achievement. The pace of growth and change accelerated through 1976. Highsea Collectors of America adopted the Fandango picture as the official club symbol. All construction loans were paid off, and membership grew to 2,000 members and 22 study clubs. The newsletter filled 22 pages. 1977 marked the debut of Oscar, a small plug horse figurine that would become a convention souvenir for 18 years. Membership now numbered 3,350 with 29 study clubs. The 24-page Highsea News announced a revamped museum shop, a variety of new publications, and the first of a series of limited edition milk glass animals produced by Imperial. Such early successes prompted the need for further expansion. Highsea Collectors of America was outgrowing its surroundings. So in 1978, an additional building was purchased to house the club's administrative offices. The 80s ushered in a new era for HCA. In 1981, Louise Ream stepped down as president, accepted a new position as executive director, and became the first professional curator of the National Highsea Glass Museum. In contrast to HCA's growth, things were not going well for Imperial Glass Company in Bel Air. Purchased by Lennox in 1973, then sold to Arthur Lurch in 1981, Imperial suffered from absentee ownership while also facing a changing and shrinking industry. Following a strike in 1982, Imperial announced that it would close. A year-and-a-half-long battle ensued over control and unpaid debts. Since its inception in 1971, Highsea Collectors of America had relied on Imperial to produce its glassware. Many collectors criticized HCA for allowing Imperial to reproduce Highsea products from the original molds, and some confusion arose about the origin of the reproductions. In reality, every item was always clearly marketed as Highsea by Imperial glass and featured the Imperial mark. And while HCA worked closely with the factory, Imperial controlled the molds. Seeing the imminent demise of the factory, the club had to again move quickly to plan a response. Knowing that Imperial planned to liquidate their assets, a plea went out to the membership at the June 1984 convention to help HCA purchase all of the remaining molds. In just 25 minutes, members contributed nearly $16,000 to establish the Mold Fund. By 1984, Imperial's attempts to stall liquidation failed, and they closed their doors forever. Consolidated International and Lancaster Colony took over all assets. HCA began negotiations. In January 1985, our offer to purchase all remaining molds, except the Old Williamsburg line for $229,150, was accepted. The acquisition included related paperwork and Highsea's original etching plates. Under police and fire escort, the first semi-truck of precious cargo rolled into town, sparking euphoria among club members and a celebration dinner at the museum. While much of the excitement and activity centered around the molds acquisition, the other accomplishments of the club were equally important. HCA paid off the mortgage on the administration building, secured ownership of the Diamond H trademark, and published 2 major hardbound reference books, one devoted to Highsea candlesticks and the other tracing the history of Highsea colors. HCA was by now the largest glass club in the country, firmly in control of its own destiny. With membership at an all-time high and after more than 15 years of almost dizzying growth, Highsea Collectors of America was again at a crossroads. In less than 2 decades, the organization had changed from a modest collectors club to a nationally renowned glass museum. Having served as president, executive director, and both volunteer and paid curator, Louise Ream stepped down in 1989 to devote more time and energy to her family. It soon became clear that Highsea Collectors of America's efforts to further education and preservation could be realized only through continued expansion. In the fall of 1990, the Museum Committee offered a dramatic proposal to build an extension onto the King House. With the promise that no existing HCA funds would be used for the $350,000 project, the proposal was approved in December of 1991. Unprecedented fundraising efforts began. HCA auctioned and raffled everything from glass to cars. The Percy Moore Memorial and Cadillac Lincoln dinners were organized, and a variety of limited editions were sold. Of these, the Flying Mare was the most popular, selling out in less than an hour. So successful were these fundraising efforts that groundbreaking ceremonies were held during the 1992 convention. On June 16, 1993, dedication ceremonies were held at the new facility. The museum now boasts 2 additional galleries, meeting space, archives, and a media center. An informative video was produced to serve as an introduction to Highsea. All told, more than $660,000 was raised by HCA members and outside sources. Due to the hard work and dedication of the board of directors, museum staff, and club members, the museum and the association are now well equipped to move into the 21st century. Most exciting is our prominent role in Newark's latest museum, the Institute of Industrial Technology. Housed within the newly renovated Scheidler Machine Works, the HCA Glass Studio will continue the legacy of A.H. Highsea and Company. Through daily glass blowing demonstrations and changing exhibits, a wider public audience will now experience the rich and diverse heritage of Licking County, while sharing our excitement and interest in Highsea glass. Through the relentless pursuit of goals that would have intimidated most people, our founding members forged a solid, well-respected organization that today spans the country. Our future is indeed bright, because those who worked so hard to create Highsea Collectors of America have worked also to gain the respect and dedication of all glass collectors and enthusiasts. And just as beautiful glassware is passed from generation to generation, so too is the legacy of commitment created by Highsea Collectors of America.